Good afternoon and welcome to Harlan Rogers Sports Complex in Fort Dodge, Iowa, the home of the Iowa Girls High School State Softball Tournament presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau. Alongside Lance Reno, I'm Zarin Egestal, and in just moments we will have the number 1 team in Class 4A, the Carlisle Wildcats, and the number 18, the Denison-Schleswig Monarchs, right here on the IGHSAU Digital Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Zarin Egestal, and Lance, how are you doing today?
We're ready for another ball game. The one just before us went a little bit long, as it was a 10-6 game. Had a couple injuries that slowed things down, but it looked like it was going to be a runaway at first, but it ended up being a very competitive game.
Let's go upstairs to PA announcer Tim Fitzpatrick.
The loser of this game will play in the consolation round at 11:30 tomorrow on Veterans Diamond. Let's meet the non-starters and assistant coaches. First of all, for the visitors from Denison-Schleswig. Number 2, Paige Kastner. Number 6, Kara Leidenfeld. Number 10, Taryn Fink. Number 11, Elena Arkfeld. Number 12, Haley Massick. Number 13, Camry Broderson. Number 16, Anna Slater. Number 23, Anna Meyer. And 24, Brooke Brown. Your assistant coaches are Shelby Piper and Brian Slater. Here's your starting lineup for the Denison-Schleswig Monarchs. Leading off and doing the catching, number 4, Alex Moore. Batting second at second base, number 5, Reagan Anderson. Batting third and doing the pitching, number 14, Sarah Heinesen. Cleanup hitter for the Monarchs at first base, number 8, Paige Armijo. Batting fifth in center field, number 17, Kayla Rao. Batting sixth in left field, number 9, Camry Dow. Batting seventh, designated player number 1, Tatum Fink. Batting eighth at third base, number 7, Kaylee Pick. Batting ninth, the shortstop, number 3, Peyton Gosler. Your right fielder, number 15, Ashlyn Carlson. Head coach for the Monarchs, Kevin Dow. Now here's your non-starters and assistant coaches for the home team from Carlisle. 00, Lexi Link. Number 5, Tatum Liefenbach. Number 8, Ashlyn Williams. Number 10, Cassie Lee. Number 21, Sarah Watchell. Number 24, Kaylee Parsons. Number 27, Reagan Rowley. Number 29, Kaylin Furnall. Number 32, Peyton Kane. Number 40, Anna Olson. Number 45, Lainey Schick. Number 50, Taylor Lee. Number 77, Isabel Loring. And number 81, Katie Keeney. Your assistant coaches, Lee Brecht and Justin Claus. Now here's your starting lineup for the Carlisle Wildcats. Leading off and doing the catching, number 23, Kennedy Preston. Batting second in right field, number 17, Delaney Schnatthorst. Batting third at shortstop, number 7, Olivia Dubois. Cleanup hitter for the Wildcats at first base, number 20, Meredith Huffman. Batting fifth in left field, number 11, Alex Lee. Batting sixth at second base, number 35, Hannah Scherz. Batting seventh and doing the pitching, number 3, Molly Hoekstra. Batting eighth at third base, number 36, Kennedy Brenozil. And batting ninth, the designated player, number 22, Morgan Lose. Your center fielder, number 26, Aubrey Furno. Head coach for the Wildcats, Jim Claus. Ladies and gentlemen, your umpiring crew for this contest: at first base, Roger Menke. At third base, Tom Scherz. And calling the balls and strikes, Mike Christner. Let's play softball.
Starting lineups are brought to you by Buena Vista University, located in Storm Lake, Iowa. Buena Vista University prepares students for lifelong success through transformational academic, professional, and co-curricular programs. Schedule your visit today at bvu.edu. That's bvu.edu. And Lance, we got our starting lineups. Carlisle, the number 1 team in Class 4A. Denison, the number 8 team. How does Denison, the number 8 team, come in here and defeat one of the top teams, not only in Class 4A, but in the entire state of Iowa?
Put the bat on the ball, get runners on, move them around. I think that's the basic thing that we have seen other teams do here so far. This is the second day of the tournament. Carlisle has only lost 3 games, 2 of which came to state tournament qualifying teams, one of which was to the team that just came through with a win here a little bit ago. Longer time on that first game of the day here on the Kruger Seeds Diamond. Got over just around 1 o'clock. That's kind of an unusual. Most of them have been getting ready on time. The other way to do that, you got to play flawless defense because you know you're going to face running pressure. You're going to face the bat being put on the ball and the ball put in play.
Yeah, Louisa Muscatine on this field just a moment ago, defeating Mount Vernon by a final score of 10-6, and also West Liberty over on the Iowa Central Community College field. This is the Kruger Seeds field, defeated West Liberty 10-0, and so that finishes off Class 3A. This is the first game here in Class 4A between these two clubs. As we get set, it will be Molly Hoekstra, the junior, 180 innings and 1/3. She only allowed 38 earned runs and a 1.48 ERA, 195 strikeouts, and she starts the first at-bat with a called strike. So a solid pitching range for her. She's only allowed 125 hits, 47 walks, and 8 hit batters so far on the year. There's a swing and a miss on a strike 1. Alex Moore, the senior catcher for the Denison-Schleswig Monarchs.
We'll see how well the ball is moved around by Hoekstra. And she's going to make Denison-Schleswig, make up their minds early. She's already thrown in a mixture of a change and a breaking ball.
That's the other key that we've seen throughout the week so far is really moving those pitches. This one swung on and hit well into center field. That one might have a chance, and that one will get over. Denison-Schleswig, what a way to start it off as the number 8 seed. A home run to deep left center field over the 200-foot wall. Hello, welcome to the state tournament, Alex Moore. The senior for the Denison-Schleswig Monarchs starts things off with a jack to left center field. Fans, that's an extra base hit. All extra base hits during the Iowa Girls High School State Softball Tournament are brought to you by Kruger Seeds. The next time you're in the need of corn or soybean seed, give your local Kruger Seeds dealer a call. Kruger Seeds, first-class seed, first name service. Well, Lance, there's a response right away from Denison-Schleswig saying, hey, we're here to play softball. We don't care what seed we are. Let's play.
You got a bit of that tournament jitters. That first game of the tournament's all important. Usually takes about an inning for both teams to get settled down. It's early.
That one in there for a called strike after a first pitch. Called strike as well. Now 0-2. The count to the number 2 hitter in the order, Regan Anderson, a senior second baseman for these Monarchs. And that one will miss high for a ball. Yeah, you mentioned the jitters, but the only thing, or the thing that Denison has going for them, this was the team that got themselves down to the state basketball tournament this past winter as well. So they do have, there's some girls crossover from basketball to softball, and so they do have a little bit of experience in a big situation right here, but
as we said, it's early. Yeah, you can't defend the one that goes over the top of that yellow covering on the fence out there. 200 feet all the way around to the outfield, so it's going to take a pretty good poke. One difference today as compared to yesterday, no wind today.
Right. Yeah, yesterday we had probably 3 or 4 balls in the games that we were doing that probably could have or should have gotten out. There's a strike 3, swing and a miss. Yeah, we had a couple of balls that probably should have gotten out yesterday that did not get out due to that wind coming in, a south wind. Sarah Heilson will step in. She'll be doing the circle for the Monarchs when they get up to defense in the bottom half of this first inning as she takes the first pitch in there for a called strike. Kevin Dow, the head coach of these Denison-Schleswig Monarchs in his 11th year coaching. 267 wins, 131 losses.
Early on, it looks like Hoekstra, she's gotten the first pitch in for a strike, and she's going to be working the lower third of the strike zone right now based upon what she's done here the first time around anyway. We'll see if that pattern changes.
Spins the softball to her liking, and that one will miss just down in this Harlan Rogers dirt, down for a ball. 2-1 the count here with an out in the top half of the first inning. This one will drift its way out of play, and that will be a chicken sandwich for some lucky fan. Lance, you found your way to going after those chicken sandwiches yet?
Well, if you blink, I'll go get it.
Interesting
that the local chicken restaurant comes up with that. On the foul, F-O-W-L balls.
2-2, and again, this one will be fouled, but the new screen protectors thrown up here at the Kruger Seeds field.
Runs dugout to dugout around behind home plate. Excellent choice on the part of the people that run the Harlan Rogers Sports Complex.
Absolutely. Looks beautiful. They're always doing renovations to this place. And that one will miss high for a ball. So for Heilson.
Full count.
Yeah, Heilson fouled a couple of them off that she didn't like, and now she takes a ball and has an opportunity to maybe take a walk. And again,
right now, Denison fairly disciplined, going after stuff that's in the zone. They're making Hoekstra throw a few extra pitches. That may take effect and have an effect in about the 5th, 6th inning if the game remains close.
Hoekstra, a junior. And she will come back with a strikeout. A swing and a miss and a forward K there for Heilson as she goes down. Paige Armijo will step in now for the Denison-Schleswig Monarchs, a right-handed batter in the 4 spot. And she'll take a big cut. For Hoekstra, how does she come back? Does she just got to get out of this inning and kind of clear her head?
She's coming back right now. You've seen it the last 2 batters, getting a little more confidence in her control. And she's picking the outside corner and doing it very well. That's a hard pitch for the right-handed pitcher to throw in there, consistency.
So 0-2 the count here to Armijo. And she really wanted to go out of that pitch on the outside corner and maybe a little bit low as well, but she does hold back and lets it go by. One and two. Swing and a miss, strike 3, so Hoekstra gets out of it, but not before Denison-Schleswig gets the home run to lead the game 1-0. We're back for the bottom of the first. Right after this, you're watching
Mid-American Energy and you, together partnering to change the energy landscape by pioneering money-saving, energy efficiency programs and building a new industry in Iowa, wind energy, all while keeping your rates low. So what's next? We'll keep delivering cost-effective energy efficiency programs while putting money back in your pocket. That's right. You decide how best to spend your savings. That's a partnership good for you, good for the environment, and good for Iowa. Another way we're obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
I am smart.
I am smart.
I am smart.
I am kind.
Kind.
I am kind.
I am strong.
Strong.
Strong. I am important.
I am important.
I am important.
I am the Iowa girl.
I am the Iowa girl.
I am the Iowa girl.
I am the Iowa girl. I am the Iowa girl.
I am the Iowa girl. I am the Iowa girl.
Mid-American Energy
Welcome
and
back here
you, together
to the
partnering to
IGHSAU
change the
Digital
energy
Network,
landscape.
Powered by Mid-American Energy Company. And we will see for the first time number 14, Sarah Heilson, a senior, making her 35th appearance here at the state tournament. 187 and 2/3 innings pitched. She's allowed 70 earned runs so far this year, and she pitches the first pitch in there for a called strike, a 2.61 ERA. But the one number to look at, she's got 249 strikeouts so far this year. And the other number to look at, she has walked 170 batters. So A couple of numbers that kind of jump out to you. She does strike a lot out, but yet she puts a lot on base. She's also hit 21 batters, so add that up. That's 191 batters she's given free bases to, 21 and 12 this season.
Preston has 116 at-bats, but she's been on base counting hits and walks, not counting errors, 80 times so far. That's what you need from your leadoff batter.
That's exactly what you want from the leadoff batter. No matter how you get on, you get on. And that one swung on. That one is into the parking lot as she got all of that. But just foul. So she'll get the bat back. Yeah, from a leadoff batter, you don't care if they slap one on, to bunt one on, if they take a hit or get walked. As long as they get on base, that's what you want from your leadoff hitter.
Carlisle pitching is giving up a 195 batting average. Denison-Schleswig, on the other hand, a 216 batting average. So the odds there, the stats, would favor Carlisle, they would appear.
That one will just
Grandstand
miss.
umpires blew that call.
Yes, no matter what color you're wearing is determined on what you thought that was a ball or a strike.
It was out of the zone.
But neither of the two sides are wearing pink, and that's all that matters. Calling the balls and strikes, and that one will be in there for a ball. A great group of umpires here at the Iowa High School Girls Union State Tournament.
It's been a couple years now that they've gone to the three-person crew. They used to have four, but the three-person crew, the regional semis, finals.
There's a ground ball over to the shortstop, Gosler, and she fires over to first in time. A nice smooth transition on the first ball in play that has not left the park.
That's why I said in the pregame, it mentions it's very important for Denison to field everything that's hit to him because Carlisle's going to put the ball in play.
So the game could come down to if Denison is able to field cleanly and not make errors, could put themselves in a pretty good situation here as the number 2 hitter, Schnauthorst, comes in.
Not make errors with runners on base and give them the extra base or bases.
A left-handed batter for Carlisle will slap that one, try to slap it down the third base side. Instead, it will be slapped just foul towards the Carlisle dugout. Carlisle is the number 1 seed, is occupying the home dugout, which is on the third base side, and Denison-Schleswig is operating the away dugouts on the first base side. Both teams are wearing white jerseys this afternoon, as that one will roll to the catcher for a ball. Though, as you can see on your screen, Denison-Schleswig has the gray pants with purple, and Carlisle going with the bright red pants to go with their white jerseys. Has some yellow and red on the jerseys as well, as that one will miss for a ball.
Another one of those slap hitter type approaches at the plate that was a big rage about 2-3 years ago. Kind of backed off of it just a little bit.
This one is slapped into center field. That's going to get down for a hit, and it's played nicely out in center field to be able to keep it just a single for Carlisle. Pick able to get in front of that one and play it nicely. Though she's not worried about bad hops. You don't have those bad hops here at Harlan Rogers Sports Complex. The field taken care of professionally.
It's a nice surface, good mixture, some sand and other drying agents and a little bit of clay.
Runner is going to go, a good throw, and it's just not in time. A nice little throw from the senior Morin behind the plate. But just not going to be in time. It will be a stolen base.
The throw was on the mark for the fielder. All she had to do really was secure the ball and put down the tag. I think the pitch was a strike, correct?
It was called the ball.
Call the ball. You see the base running pressure again. Here's your strike.
That one is called for a strike, as this brings up Olivia Dubois, the senior shortstop for the Carlisle Wildcats. And she flings one up in the air. Well, that one is going to reach the seats as well, and will be a foul ball. And so we will sit with a 1-2 count. Here with one out and a runner in scoring position.
Tying runs at second. give credit to the coach, Jim Flaws, for Carlisle. He's been here before, so he knows how to keep the kids calm and keep them in perspective.
Coach Flaws and Carlisle making their 17th appearance as that one will be ripped to center field. Pick, another nice play in center field to pull that one down. A little bit of a wild throw, but it keeps the runner where she's supposed to stay and second base, and it'll be a fly out.
Almost a double play there. The runner hesitated a little bit. Center fielder Rowe came in with a nice strong throw to second base.
And Heilson, oh, they're going to put her on, okay. So Heilson said something to the dugout. I didn't know what they wanted to do, but they wanted to intentionally walk Meredith Hoffman, the junior. And rightfully so. Hoffman has 48 hits in 115 at-bats so far this year, so she'll take first base on an intentional walk. And that ball will just get away.
That sets up any base defensive situation here for the Monarchs.
Here's the windup. And that one again going to the dirt. The runner's going to take off, and the throw, again, not a bad throw, maybe a bit high, but just not quite in time as both runners will advance via a stolen base. So now two runners in scoring position here for Carlisle, but there is 2 outs. So that's what Denison can work with. Any ground ball, fly ball should end the inning, and now not have to worry about those 2 runners on second and third.
You have to give the catcher, Alex Moore, a lot of credit. Keeping that ball in front of her, could have easily skipped past to the backstop.
2 balls and 1 strike is our count. This one swung on, chopped to the third base side. It's through the legs, and there's one of those errors you're talking about. Nobody goes after the softball either, and both runs will score. It was an error and then a mental error for Denison-Schleswig, and 2 Carlisle runs will come in via the error. Tough play. It goes through the shortstop or the third baseman's leg, and then I think the shortstop thought the third baseman was going to grab it, and neither of them did. So both Carlisle runs will come home. And now Coach Dow wants to talk about something that they saw with the umpires, and I'm going to refer to Lance here. What are they looking at?
I'm not really sure, but the base umpire is going to come in, and he may be looking for an obstruction call down there, possibly, or interference some way or shape or form.
So Lee is on first base. She reached via the error. 2 runs come home for Carlisle, and now Coach Flaws also comes in. And
he's got to stay back at the coaching box up there. He said, I'm talking to my runner, but
he's pointing and yelling something as well, and now the third umpire is going to talk to Coach Flaws. So we have 2 umpires talking to Coach Dow, 1 umpire talking to Coach Flaw. And both coaches are upset about something. Now all 3 of our umpires are going to come through and talk about it. Now, Lance, this gives us a good opportunity to mention this. The umpires doing a very good job of coming together and making sure they get the things right.
Get the call right. And the coach from Denison-Schleswig is asking the third base umpire as to what went on back there. I think he might have felt that there might have been interference by the base runner on the play, particularly with the shortstop. We don't have the benefit of instant replay here, by the way.
Hannah Schurz will bat now. The senior is making her 94th appearance to the plate. 34 hits for her, so she's another one that can swing the stick a little bit.
Important here for Carlisle, though. They've regained the lead.
That one's in there for a strike. And you see Moore behind the plate. Very aggressive catcher about every single time. She's popping up and stepping up like she's going to throw. She's not lazy back there. She's not only going to pop up if the runner goes. She's going to make sure that runner stays.
That's where the other team in the base running is in the mind of the defensive team, very much aware they're going to have to make a play and make a play quick.
So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Heilson trying to get out of the first inning, and this one is swung on in the air, and that one will be a foul ball. Runner was moving, hit and run play on, I would assume, there from Coach Flaws. As you mentioned, making his 17th appearance here to Fort Dodge. Now, when I talk about his record, sometimes it looks like video game type numbers. In his career, not all of them were at Carlisle. He had 3 elsewhere, but he's 1,117 and 218 in his career.
That's a lot of games. There's a nice throw.
And that one, And they're going to say she is safe at second base. The umpire had a much better look at that than we did. It will be a call the ball. And once again, the Denison fans not happy about that. But either way, it's a stolen base for Lee. And a 2-2 count. Deuces wild, 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And Denison is able to get out of it, but not before Carlisle comes back and takes the lead 2-1 here in the first inning. We head to the second. You're watching the IGHSAU Digital Network powered by Mid-American Energy.
We might not always know what the day will bring, but some things are certain. The sun will rise and your lights will go on. That's because at Mid-American Energy, we're obsessively, relentlessly committed to providing you energy when and where you need it, to connecting with you and keeping our communities safe and strong. Because the most important thing we put our energy into is you. We're obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Hey, high school sports fans. Are you following the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union online? Stay up to date with the latest information and scores from across the state as we share highlights and achievements from our student athletes. You can follow all the action on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat. Just search at IGHSAU.
Welcome back here to Harlan Rogers Sports Complex. It's the Kruger Seeds Field. Zarin Egestal alongside Lance Reno, the IGHSAU Digital Network powered by Mid-American Energy and presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau. And for Denison-Schleswig coming back here in the bottom half of the second inning, Lance, what's their goal here in the second, batting-wise?
Got to come back, try to tie the game up, at least, minimum. And they figured out here that Hoekstra has been working the bottom third of the zone.
Leaders
starts with the first pitch down and away as well.
Leaders start at Central College, and Scholar athletes succeed on the court and in the classroom. In the past year, 112 Central College student athletes have received academic all-conference recognition. Learn how to become more than a spectator by visiting central.edu. As that one will miss for a ball as well. Back-to-back balls to start things off for Denison-Schleswig. And Rao, the center fielder, made a couple of nice plays there in the bottom half of inning number 1 out in center field. And now she'll foul this one back to the backstop.
A little bit of a backspin, a little bit of a drop pitch that time from Hoekstra. And again, she's working right around the knees. Not too many pitchers can do that consistently well.
Very solid takeaway from the first batter, a solid inning for her. And now this one is grounded back, and she fielded nicely and fires over to first base. Now, for teams, you need a pitcher that not only can pitch very well, but also can field well out of the circle. And it was a nice job there by Hoekstra to do so.
Got to remember, they're only 43 feet away from the batter when they start their pitch. Some of them are probably 38 feet after they finish their step. Got to have good, quick reactions.
And Hoekstra does there. As we were mentioning, other than the first at-bat home run she gave up, she struck out the side. So not a bad first inning for her, and her team has given her the lead now, so now she can try to pitch. And they're going to peel down to first base. Did she go? And the umpire over there at first says, no, she did not. So that will be a ball, 1 ball and 1 strike here. This one's chopped over to the first base side. A nice little reaction there by Hoffman at first base. Makes the out for out number 2.
That was a tough one because that one from the right-handed batter had a side spin heading towards the foul line down first.
Tatum Fink will step in now, a senior right fielder. And she takes the first pitch down low for a ball. So we've seen some good play from the infield here from Carlisle in this ball game. The first couple of balls that have been put in play for Denison-Schleswig. That one's in there for a strike.
Tough up the middle. Catcher, pitcher, second, short, center field. You're good there with quickness and good gloves. You're going to be winning a lot of games.
That one a swing and a miss, yes. Carlisle did win a lot of games this year, 35-3 coming in to the Class 4A state tournament, the #1 seed. And their losses come to pretty good teams. Had one conference loss. Other than that, they finished first.
Weren't they #1 stem to stern starting the season? And then that in itself becomes a burden. Everybody wants to knock you off.
As that one's fouled away. I had a conversation with Justin Flaws, the assistant coach, the nephew for Jim Flaws, who's the head coach, and he was talking about how, you know, they want to play the Fort Dodges and the 5A schools. They played Johnston twice this year. They played Des Moines Lincoln. This one's a drop third strike and an attempt to reach first base, but it won't. It will be a strikeout, the fourth of the ball game for Hoekstra, and that will end the top half of the first. We'll be right back. You're watching the IGHSAU Digital Network, powered by Mid-American Energy.
We'll start things off for the Wildcats. Kennedy Brazil. On deck, Lowe's. Oh.
You need space.
We might not always know what the day will bring, but some things are certain. The sun will rise and your lights will go on. That's because at Mid-American Energy, we're obsessively, relentlessly committed to providing you energy when and where you need it, to connecting with you and keeping our communities safe and strong. Because the most important thing we put our energy into is you. We're obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Hey, high school sports fans. Are you following the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union online? Stay up to date with the latest information and scores from across the state as we share highlights and achievements from our student athletes. You can follow all the action.
Welcome back here to Harlan Rogers Sports Complex, the IGHSAU Digital Network, powered by Mid-American Energy. As the first pitch is in there for a called strike from Heilson. And touching on that conversation a little bit with Justin Flaws, as this one is fouled and that one will reach the seats. He was talking about, you know, playing Johnston. They played Johnston twice this year. You know, they go play Indianola. Des Moines Lincoln they played twice. Webster City was a team that was ranked in Class 4A when they played them at the time. They played the 2 seed in Class 3A, the Wise of Muscatine. They played the Class 5A 2 seed, Fort Dodge. As there's a swing and a miss and a strikeout to start things off for Heilson. They also played Linville-Selly, who's in the Class 1A field as well. So just a lot of tough competition. And Justin says they want it. That's what they want to go do. They want to go play those teams.
Carlisle's in the unique position. If they want to play that tough competition, they don't have to travel far to do it, being in the metro area of central Iowa.
That they are, and so they can find those teams. But, you know, even if they weren't, I think they would go travel and find that competition because they don't want it to be a surprise when they get down here to Fort Dodge as a perennial power. You know, they're expected to be here year in and year out, and they don't want it to be a surprise when they do get here of what the teams are throwing this year.
And to further your point, a lot of times you can get into that tougher competition by participating in Friday, Saturday type tournaments, which have really taken over in the last, say, 4 or 5 years. because that gives you a chance to play somebody you don't normally play.
The rain kind of affected them a little bit this year. They only got 38 regular season games. Justin says the magic number is about 40.
40 is the total.
Right.
You're allowed.
That's what they would like. That's what they would like to play each and every single year.
Prior to the start of tournaments.
Right. Yeah. But that's where they want to try to get to, is that 40 number. And but a few rainouts weren't able to quite get there.
Got a full count here.
This one's chopped to the third
Tough
base
play.
side. Nice play, though. We've seen some good plays from the Denison-Schleswig infield so far, and a 5-3 put out there. As Pick makes a nice little play over to Armio over at first base. That one will
This
be in
key
there.
inning for Denison-Schleswig here, Zarin, is if they can keep Carlisle off the board, that's a mental win. That's one of many wins the game develops.
As that
That's
one
yours.
is flung
You
back
didn't bring
to
your
us here.
glove.
Yeah, no, I didn't. That I did not. I had put the faith in the netting behind home plate, the brand new netting. I put the faith in that, and I did not bring the glove.
One thing Carlisle does, the on-deck hitter comes in and retrieves the bat for the batter. You don't see that often.
And that one is aimed at and swung at and missed for strike 3, as that will end our second inning. We head to the third. You're watching the IGHSAU Digital Network, powered by Mid-American Energy.
Got Central.
Yes.
Or did we just do that? I think we just did that, didn't we?
Yeah, I just did that one. Welcome back here on the IGHSAU Digital Network, powered by Mid-American Energy, to Harlan Rogers Sports Complex and the Kruger Seeds Field. As this one is swung on, first pitch thrown to center field, and a nice catch made out in center field by Fernol. And good range there. You know, it could be a little bit difficult in the sun. I know these girls making their first, not their first tournament appearance, but their first appearance in this year's tournament. And they're used to playing at nighttime or later in the day, depending on the conference. Some conferences play 5:30 softball. Some conferences play double headers. Some play 6 o'clock. Some play 7:30 softball. So, but not very often do they play at 1:51 in the afternoon. So the sun could be a little bit of a difficulty, but a nice play out there in center field.
You take a look at the runs scored, and Carlisle has scored 293. Denison-Schleswig 285. Very close stats coming in.
That one grounded over to the sure-handed first baseman Hoffman as she makes the out number 2. A couple of putouts for her. Good size as a first baseman.
She's tall.
As well for Hoffman.
Has a good reach and a good stretch. Here we go, 2 out, nobody on.
That's what you want in your first baseman. You want long arms, long legs, and to be able to really go after those balls, because sometimes if it's a slow chopper to the third base side, it's not just the third baseman having to be quick, it's the first baseman having to be quick to reach out and make that play.
Moore is up. She has the only run of the day for Denison-Schleswig.
And she
Now
puts another
goes
good swing on it, back to the wall, and this one's going to bounce off the wall for at least a double. She's going to try to take it into a triple, and she will be out at third base.
Excellent getting the ball in by Schnarnhorst, the right fielder. Excellent play.
Wow, that one a good throw. It is going to be ruled a double. She's going to be out at second base. We'll talk about Kruger Seeds when we get back. You're watching the IGHSAU Digital Network, powered by Mid-American Energy.
Pat.
We might not always know what the day will bring, but some things are certain. The sun will rise and your lights will go on. That's because at Mid-American Energy, we're obsessively, relentlessly committed to providing you energy when and where you need it, to connecting with you and keeping our communities safe and strong. Because the most important thing we put our energy into is you. We're obsessively relentless.
Iowa Public Television is the home of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union Championships. We bring you live, uninterrupted coverage of the state championships in volleyball, basketball, soccer, and softball. Plus, special features highlighting the Iowa girl. Catch it all on statewide Iowa Public Television, on air or at iptv.org.
Welcome back here on the IGHSAU Digital Network, powered by Mid-American Energy. That last double was an extra base hit. All extra base hits in the Iowa Girls High School State Softball Tournament are brought to you by Kruger Seeds. The next time you're in the need of corn or soybean seed, give your local Kruger Seeds dealer a call. Kruger Seeds, first class seed, first name service. And we were just talking about that one, as this one is going to be in there for a called strike. Probably, in a one-run game in the state quarterfinals, maybe you'd like her to stay there at second base, but good speed, trying to stretch it into a triple. There's pros and cons both ways.
Defenders have got to make the throw on the mark, and they did.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
It's a 50-50 chance. Ooh, that was a nice changeup up and out of the zone.
1-1 now the count. Yeah, you look at it the other way. If she's safe, everybody's like, okay, good job. You got in there, and now we're one base away from bringing in the tying run. There's that one just outside the zone. But from there, Denison-Schleswig will move on, regroup, and try to get out of another inning here with Carlisle. Still a very close game, 2-1 the score. The number 8 seed, the Denison-Schleswig Monarchs, and the number 1 seed, the Carlisle Wildcats. This one is ripped this left field. It's in trouble area, and it will get down for a single. A nice little rip there from the leadoff hitter. We were talking about the leadoff hitter getting on, and she's the leadoff hitter in the lineup and now leading off this inning and can start things off here for Carlisle.
Courtesy runner is Isabel Noring.
Isabel Noring will go in and run as the courtesy runner. That is a substitution. All substitutions in this game are brought to you by IMT Insurance. Learn how you can be worry-free with IMT at imtins.com. Isabel, one of the 8th graders, and I got a story about the Carlisle 8th graders, as that one will miss high for a ball. From Coach Justin Flaws was talking about it, and one of the reasons why they continue to be a perennial power here at the Girls State Softball Tournament, as Isabel Noring going to try to go, and she will be safe, and she'll look towards center field. A stolen base there for her. One of the reasons why they continue to be a powerhouse is because they bring these freshmen and these 8th graders with them, knowing that they're probably not going to get a lot of playing time other than maybe courtesy running here and there. But the experience is really what helps them, because now when these girls start, girls like Isabel Noring, girls like Katie Kearney, when those girls get to start actually participating, playing the outfield, playing the infield, they are going to have that experience of playing here at Fort Dodge and playing in some of the big games. And so that was his big thing. He was telling me that's what Coach Jim Flaws, who's going to call time here and talk to his batter, was saying. You know, and he said there was some times at the beginning of the year where those girls were making mistakes. Those 8th graders are freshmen. They were making bad base running errors. They were making mental mistakes on the base paths that really, at times, they're like, you know, do we keep running them? And then the second thought, yeah, you know, get those mistakes out now before you get to Fort Dodge. Don't make those mistakes in Fort Dodge, and don't make those mistakes, you know, once you become a sophomore and a junior. This one is going to be sacrificed back to the pitcher, and a collision at first base.
Notice the wind has changed. The flags are at half staff today. I'm not sure the reason for that, but it's now a wind that's coming in from the left field line, blowing towards first base.
And a good job by Heilson there just to make the good play at first base instead of trying to force something at third. As that one will miss high for a ball. Now it's up to Coach Flaws what he decides to do. Lets her swing away. I think he is motioning her for it. At least get it to the right side, because you get to the right side, you're going to give your runner a chance.
But the second baseman is creeping in, looking for the bunt.
It will be a squeeze there to bring the runner home. And Coach Flaws, about everybody at the stadium knew exactly what was going on there, and he even pointed out of the coach's box saying, make sure you get it to first base. And she did there. That will get the sacrifice to bring the run home. As Meredith Hoffman, the first baseman, will step in now. We talked about her got good size. She takes the first pitch in there for a called strike. A change up there, Lance, and just missing high for a ball. We've talked about the different pitches that Heilson is trying to work with here in this ball game. The changeup is one of them, but she just misses with that one there. Comes back with the fastball. It's fouled off.
Still makes you want to duck when it hits that metal up above us.
Yeah, and you talked about another one of the routines that Coach Flaws has is every time a foul ball happens, his base runners or his batters run to first base, run it out. You always hear coaches preaching about that. Run it out. And a swing and a miss, strike 3, and that will end the third inning. You're watching the IGHSAU Digital Network powered by Mid-American Energy.
Mid-American Energy and you, together partnering to change the energy landscape by pioneering money-saving, energy efficiency programs and building a new industry in Iowa, wind energy, all while keeping your rates low. So what's next? We'll keep delivering cost-effective energy efficiency programs while putting money back in your pocket. That's right, you decide how best to spend your savings. That's a partnership good for you, good for the environment, and good for Iowa. Another way we're obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
I wanted a big university experience.
Without the big university price.
That's why I chose Iowa Central.
What makes Iowa Central so different than other community colleges is its size.
Big campus, lots of programs, athletics, and performing arts.
I live right here on campus.
And the teachers know me by name.
I'll be career ready in 2 years.
And all my credits transfer to a university.
It's a big time experience.
Without the big time price.
Come see it for yourself.
Welcome back to the IGHSAU Digital Network State Tournament. The Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. Central College is recruiting leaders. Come learn and play at a place that regularly wins national team titles, national individual titles, conference all sports titles, and much more. Visit central.edu to learn how to become more than just a spectator. And Lance, the Denison-Schleswig Monarchs want to become more than just a spectator here in the top half of inning number 4, as they're going to try to rally it going as they trail by 2 runs. And whoa, a hot shot to first base. That's what the long arms and the long legs are for, as Hoffman reaches out and snags that one for out number 1.
She definitely took a hit away, playing in the right spot, and the ball was really knocked by Anderson. Should have been a base hit.
You know, I was just about to say, and that's the way you lead things off with the base hit, because like you said, about any other team you're playing, that would have been a base hit, but when you get a girl that's I don't have the exact measurements on her, but I would say she's probably 6'4".
Yeah, they don't list the heights.
But she reached out and snagged that ball away. And this will bring up now Sarah Heilson, the pitcher for the Monarchs, a right-handed batter. Took back-to-back strikes and really wanted to go after that ball on the outside corner. But instead, she lets it go, and it will be 1 ball and 2 strikes here in the top half of the 4th inning. Thanks for joining us. The Kruger Seeds Field is where we're on. And that one will miss low for a ball. Zarin Egestal, Lance Reno along the call with you this afternoon for state quarterfinal championship softball between the number 1 seed, the Carlisle Wildcats, and the number 8 seed, the Denison-Schleswig Monarchs. And that one is foul tipped into the catcher's glove for a strikeout. As this will bring up now Paige Armino, the first baseman for the Monarchs.
Middle of the order, middle of the game, you're down by 2. You got to make something happen here if you're going to come back strong.
This one is popped up, floating towards the commons area, and it will make its way up and out of play. For strike 1. That one's a swing and a miss. And now 2 strikes on Armio here for Denison-Schleswig. And for Hoekstra, since giving up that first at-bat home run, she's been dealing. As this one is swung on and flung again up and out of play. The only other trouble she's really been in, the only other hit she's given up, was a double.
Correct.
To the same girl that smoked the home run, Alex Moore, for Denison-Schleswig. That one will miss outside for a ball.
When your pitcher's on the mark, hitting her spots, it's a lot easier for your defense to play. And we see that Hoekstra right now, since giving up that leadoff home run, he pretty much kept him in command.
This one over to shortstop, and a strong throw from the shortstop area over to first in time for the out. The senior makes the play. Dubois for out number 3. We head to the bottom of the 4th. You're watching the IGHSAU Digital Network powered by Mid-American Energy.
We might not always know what the day will bring, but some things are certain. The sun will rise and your lights will go on. That's because at Mid-American Energy, we're obsessively, relentlessly committed to providing you energy when and where you need it, to connecting with you and keeping our communities safe and strong. Because the most important thing we put our energy into is you. We're obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
In Iowa, we all play by the same rules. Hard work pays off, practice makes perfect, success is something you earn, and teamwork helps us all be winners. The Iowa Pork Producers Association is proud to support statewide high school athletics. Because on our team and on yours, what we bring to the table is what brings us all together. Learn more about our commitment to Iowa at iowapork.org.
Welcome back to Harlan Rogers Sports Complex in Fort Dodge, the home of the Iowa girls state softball tournament. It looks like
working on third base, came loose. Did you try to steal it again?
Slight problem over at third. No, have you seen me? I don't steal bases.
Middle of the order here for the Wildcats.
And it looks like Coach Flaws
gonna need the grounds crew.
Yeah, Coach Flaws was going to try to take care of himself, but instead he has called for the grounds crew.
The peg is broken into the ground, which could make for an interesting situation.
Yeah, it could make for a little bit of a lengthy delay, but that's okay. It gives us a chance to recap a little bit, Lance, what's been going on here in this Class 4A quarterfinal match here between Denison and Carlisle. Let's talk about it. Let's take it right back through it. For Denison, I don't know if you can get much better of a start than a home run to start things off.
No, you got the big blast, and then you got the second hit that she had. The double could have been a triple, except for a beautiful throw from the right fielder Schnarhorst on the relay. That could have changed the game had she been there at third base and only one out. Instead, she became the second out. You've got both pitchers that have settled down, settled in, finding their spots, and both teams are struggling to get something put together here. That's what a state championship game should be in the championship round.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit. That hit out to center field. Now put yourselves in Alex Moore's shoes a little bit. She's a senior, and she's in the state tournament. She's already crushed a home run, so you know the adrenaline is really rushing through her. And then she smokes one out to the right side, so it's, even in a spot where you can hit a triple, it's to the right side, and she just goes motoring around. Now, her coach was not giving her the windmill. Coach Dow was not giving her the windmill, but he wasn't giving her the stop sign either. I think he was kind of leaving it up to her, and she nearly beat it out.
It's a very close play there at third base, so.
But in that
pressure, putting pressure on by running, making the other team make the perfect throw from the right angle coming in.
In that situation, though, I know you've coached some softball in the past. You've done some coaching yourself in the past. So in that situation, though, I mean, we're really early in this. I mean, if it's late in the game, if it's the seventh inning, yeah, she's going. I mean, you're going for sure. But that early in the game, do you think, maybe you stop there and try to wind it up?
That's where coaches differ. Never make the third out at third base or the first out at third base on something like that. I think you got to if you're going to be aggressive, go for it. You take the chance. I would say that, I would have had my runner coming to third in that same situation.
Okay.
If I were there.
There we go.
Particularly with the speed she has.
Yeah, she is very quick. And she's a leadoff hitter, and so that's part of it. She's very quick there for Denison-Schleswig. Well, let's keep it here in the first inning, or let's keep it right around that same area. Let's talk about Hoekstra and her situation. She gives off, I know we talked about this a little bit, but she gives up a leadoff home run to center field, and then after that, she's settled in. I mean, she struck out the side after that, a couple other strikeouts to her name. She's really settled in.
I'm sure she'd like to have the home run pitch back because that was up a little bit. She was trying to change the eye view of the hitters and got the ball up a little bit higher than she really wanted to. And to give credit to Denison-Schleswig, to Moore, the catcher, she has seen the pitches as she's the catcher, so she has a little better sense of timing for what's going on. Working on digging out the base plug could be a little bit. Now, we were catching up. We started this game about an hour ago, not quite. We were about 15 minutes delayed, and we were cruising right along to get this one in on time until somebody stumbled over third and caused the base.
Again, this is where my situation, where it couldn't have been me, because first of all, the only way I'm getting to third base is if I hit a home run and I'm touching third base on the way to home. Otherwise, if I hit the ball, I'm usually getting pinched run for out there on the base paths.
But I'll bet if there was a nice big pizza there, your favorite kind, you might be able to win the race, right?
I may go after it. But pizza's not really my draw. Put a big steak out there, and I may try to stretch it into a triple just to go find that. So
it's amazing to me to watch the kids, comparing them back to the teams in the 80s, the 90s, the 70s. Seems like they're more speed at the top of the lineup now. And the game has become more refined as the bigger schools added the sport, because prior to the mid-70s, it was primarily the smaller schools that played the game of softball. And they also offered a fall softball season, which is no longer, because volleyball has filled that slot. There was some discussion back then of co-seasons, having volleyball and softball in the fall. But that kind of went by the wayside as they decided to bring in volleyball would have impact more kids. And again, it was the smaller schools that started that. And the smaller schools over the years, as you, Zarin, check back in history, the 6-on-6 game, very popular in the smaller schools until the consolidations And all of a sudden you've got several schools now that are of 6 or 7 or 8 communities.
And I saw that for the first time. Now, I never got to watch any 6-on-6. That was before my time. But the IGHSAU put on a very good state basketball championships this past winter.
Correct.
Which both of me and you were at. And they did a reenactment. It was Dowling versus Centennial, had the freshman teams learn how to play 6-on-6 basketball, and I was intrigued. I got to watch 6-on-6 for the first time. I mean, obviously, I had gone back and watched some YouTube videos, some history type things on 6-on-6, but I'd never got to see it in person. That was pretty outstanding to watch that.
You can find videos of some of those games and those state championship games. If you look online, you can find them. As far as being an official, it was a little tougher game to work. So
no battery. I'll get your Clayton back in a minute.
You had to hustle up and down because you tried to get the ball from half court. And 3-on-3. When you look now, the NBA has what, a 3-on-3 league that some people really are into. But that's the old style 6-player game in the state of Iowa.
Well, we're going to continue this discussion. We'll continue the base discussion. We're going to take a quick break. You're watching the IGHSAU Digital Network powered by Mid-American Energy.
We might not always know what the day will bring, but some things are certain. The sun will rise and your lights will go on. That's because at Mid-American Energy, we're obsessively, relentlessly committed to providing you energy when and where you need it, to connecting with you and keeping our communities safe and strong. Because the most important thing we put our energy into is you. We're obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
In Iowa, we all play by the same rules. Hard work pays off, practice makes perfect, success is something you earn, and teamwork helps us all be winners. The Iowa Pork Producers Association is proud to support statewide high school athletics. Because on our team and on yours, what we bring to the table is what brings us all together. Learn more about our commitment to Iowa at iowapork.org.
Iowa Public Television is the home of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union Championships. We bring you live, uninterrupted coverage of the state championships in volleyball, basketball, soccer, and softball. Plus special features highlighting the Iowa girl. Catch it all on statewide Iowa Public Television, on air or at iptv.org.
Mid-American Energy and you, together partnering to change the energy landscape by pioneering money-saving, energy efficiency programs and building a new industry in Iowa, wind energy, all while keeping your rates low. So what's next? We'll keep delivering cost-effective energy efficiency programs while putting money back in your pocket. That's right. You decide how best to spend your savings. That's a partnership good for you, good for the environment, and good for Iowa. Another way we're obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Welcome back to beautiful Harlan Rogers Sports Complex. It's the Kruger Seeds Field. Zarin Egestal, Lance Reno here on the IGHSAU Digital Network. And Lance, looks like they're getting closer over on the third base side. But what it gives us an opportunity to talk about the wonderful crew that they have here at the Harlan Rogers Sports Complex. It's a mixture of kids that are, maybe going to school for this type of thing over at possibly Iowa Central, or it's kids that are from around this area, and they do a great job here at Harlan Rogers Sports Complex, and right now still working on that third base bag.
This complex is used for regular high school games for Fort Dodge, and I think St. Edmunds also plays their games out here on the softball diamonds. And you have adult rec leagues that do come out here, so it's a full year type of activity here. And the adult leagues will continue once we get beyond this, as we're swinging toward the end of July, and hate to say it, back to school times around the corner.
Right. I can confirm. I have I was stationed here in Fort Dodge for a couple of years myself, and I did play on one of those adult leagues, played over on the fields that these teams use to practice on over on the far side there. But yeah, the field we're on right now, the Kruger Seeds field, is used for the Fort Dodge Dodgers during the regular season. And then the field over there, the Iowa Central Community College field with the green scoreboard, that is used for the St. Edmund Gales throughout the regular season.
They took the tape measure out and measured it exactly the distance, correct distance from home plate to make sure it's established correctly. And then now they're going to try to tamp it in. In the semifinals in 3A, we completed that this morning. You have Davenport Assumption playing Columbus Catholic out of Waterloo. That'll be 11:30 tomorrow morning on the other diamond. Louisa Muscatine will face West Liberty in the 1:30 semifinal. They're playing both of the semifinals of each class on the same particular field, which could either be Kruger Seeds Field, which we're located on here, or the Iowa Central Community College field. Yet to come this afternoon, you have North Scott against Oskaloosa. That'll be our next game on our side anyway. Charles City takes on Dallas Santa Grimes. And then we swing into the nighttime, late afternoon, dusk time, if you will. Waukee, seeded number 1, takes on Ottumwa at 5. Indianola facing Johnston at 5:30. Then home standing Fort Dodge back here on this same diamond at 7 faces West Des Moines Valley. That should be interesting because they split during the season. Cedar Rapids Kennedy and Iowa City High go at it in the last game of that quarterfinal. Semifinals starting tomorrow. Class 1A, you got Collins Maxwell taking on Newell Fonda. Lisbon taking on Clarksville. That'll be on this diamond, the Kruger Seeds diamond. That's the 1 o'clock game. 3 o'clock, it's North Lynn against Mount Ayr. And East Marshall at 5 takes on Alta Aurelia again on this diamond, Kruger Seeds, or what us older timers would commonly refer to as diamond number 1.
Right, exactly. But very happy to have Kruger Seeds and Iowa Central Community College, a part of the IGHSAU, as it looks like we're going to get ready to play softball. I always like to bring good news to everybody, so I will be the one to say that it looks like we are getting ready to continue Class 4A quarterfinal state softball. And now
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Runner goes sliding into the base in that situation, and the base goes out. You're the guy that's got to make the call, and it's a bang-bang play. What are you going to call?
I have no idea.
Safe, because
you are the rules
base
expert.
Becomes dislodged.
Okay.
The runner is considered to have. He got it right. You're outvoted 2-1.
Hey, I'm just here. You're the rules expert.
No.
I'm just here.
The one thing I found out, I studied the rules more this year, wore out my cover and the copy of the rules book, and I got more and more things that I know I need to go back and study. Even after watching softball over all the years. A lot of it is good judgment. The second part is positioning. I think if you'll subtly notice where the guys and gals that are umpiring our games, and we welcome the women officials to the state tournaments, if they're in the right position, the call becomes easier.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's update you on where we are. We're in the home half of the 4th inning, getting ready to start it for Carlisle, who is the home team. They will have Lee, Schurz, and Hoekstra all due up here, and Lee was looking to slap that one to start things off, but she takes a called strike. In the home half of the 4th, it's Carlisle 3, Denison-Schleswig, the Monarchs 1. Here in this Class 4A quarterfinal between the number 1 seed, the Carlisle Wildcats, and the number 8 seed, the Denison-Schleswig Monarchs. Denison-Schleswig is in the field right now wearing the gray pants, white jerseys, and the purple. And Carlisle is the batters wearing the bright red pants to go along with the white jerseys, yellow trim, and the red outlines of their numbers.
We should point out the 2 out of the 3 runs scored by Carlisle scored on the same error.
Yes. This one swung on and flung down the left side, and that's going to be foul, the third base side. Yes. We talked about the errors. We're going to come into play, and usually, an error sometimes won't even bring home a run. We make one mistake, okay, let's move on. But unfortunately for Denison, not only did one error bring in 1 run, but 1 error brought in 2 runs, and that's the difference in the ball game right now is those 2 runs on the error. as Heilson, the pitcher, will miss with that pitch for a ball, and will take this count full 3-2.
We haven't had many full counts in this game.
That we haven't.
The edge goes to the pitcher probably in that situation.
And that one misses for a ball.
Usually.
Yeah, because if the pitcher throws a strike, she's got more options because she can get a strikeout. She could get a pop-up, a ground out. You know, the hitter, all they can do is take a walk or get a ground ball.
So the layoff here is going to have a little bit of an impact we see here with Sarah Heilson. She's trying to get her control back. She was just in that groove before the break.
And that will be a dead ball. And yes, so Heilson was over on the side of the Monarchs dugout. She was doing some warm-up pitches. She was trying to stay warm during that break. But as a pitcher, yeah, it doesn't feel good to be all warmed up, throwing, and then boom. You know, the one thing she had going for her is that it was at the beginning of an inning, so she didn't come out into the circle and get set. Though she had taken her warm-up pitches, that one will miss down in the dirt for a ball, and it was missed for a moment. Both runners are going to move up.
Catcher Moore couldn't find it, and it was right between where her feet were stationed. So you can look at now some pressure from Carlisle, and a runner down at second base for Carlisle, number 30. Have to double check the number here.
35. Running. New runner.
Running at second base.
That is a substitution.
Kaylee Parsons, 24.
Yes, number 24, Kaylee Parsons, a sophomore. She is our IMT substitution. Substitutions are brought to you by IMT Insurance. Learn how you can be worry-free with IMT at imtins.com.
Again, Carlisle shows bunt, and the batter tried to take off, tried to fake out the umpire. That's ball two.
And
he
thought
pointed,
she thought it hit her. And he said no.
It only counts if the man behind the plate wearing the mask says, take your base.
Yes.
It's not what the batter thinks. Batters have always agreed with umpires, 100%.
You know, at the end of the day, yeah, usually, well, we did see yesterday Mount Air's coach came out and argued a play and actually got it reversed. A lot of times you don't see that, but that was one of the plays where Mount Air's coach came out and argued it, and the umpire said, oh, yeah, we agree with you, coach, and the play was actually changed. This one will miss and be a pass ball, and the run will score on that pass ball. And now 2 runs will score.
There's an interesting situation as the batter runner advances on to third on the throws. You almost had obstruction there on the defensive player, the pitcher coming in, and you got to be very, very careful. Then the runner tried to get up. So now we've got a runner down at third base. Number 27 is pinch running.
Yeah, she's a courtesy runner.
She's a courtesy runner.
Yeah, she is a courtesy runner for the pitcher, Hoekstra.
Adding some stats, adding some people to the list here.
Reagan Rolling, she is an IMT substitution once again. Substitutions today are brought to you by IMT Insurance. Learn how you can be worry-free with IMT at imtins.com.
So those 2 runs are going to help Carlisle just a little bit here. So they're taking momentum back, coming back after the timeout.
Yeah, and 1 wild pitch brings in 2 runs. We've seen some pretty crazy things. 1 error brings in 2 runs. Now a wild pitch brings in 2 runs. And there was issued to Denison-Schleswig as well in that situation.
Potential 3rd run in the inning at third.
As that one's
Pardon my pun.
Yes. That was in there for a called strike. And yeah, an interesting play at home plate. You might have seen it. The pitcher, Denison-Schleswig pitcher, Heilson, was on the base, and she thought that she was being obstructed by Lee. This one's bunted. A sacrifice squeeze will not be in time as Rolling will come in, and now getting
nobody
over
covering second.
Yeah, nobody over at second base. And so the squeeze instead will be a fielder's choice. And the fielder's choice will allow a runner over to second base, and Carlisle now leads 6-1. And another runner is going to come in here for Carlisle.
And nobody out.
81. You don't see that number very often.
Katie Keeney.
Yes, you don't see that number very often. Another IMT substitution. Substitutions today are brought to you IMT. Learn how you can be worry-free with IMT at imtins.com.
Carlisle's going for the juggler here, as you might expect him to, with a big outburst with 3 runs already in the inning. Open a little space, give your defense and your pitchers a little bit of relaxation mode.
And yeah, playing some small ball. They're throwing the bunts down, letting the players play.
We saw the small ball in the game that went a little beyond its allotted time earlier on today.
And another pitch will be in there for a called strike and an attempted bunt there. 1 ball and 1 strike here in the bottom half of the 4th inning. Thanks for joining us here on the IGHSAU Digital Network, powered by Mid-American Energy. This one is bunted this time, and it will go just foul.
And not a ball out of the infield, and the 3 runs have scored. It's been, as you would say, small ball here.
It has been small ball, to say the least.
And we're number 9 hitter back to the top of the order, and the next batter, there's nobody out.
That is correct there, and we have 1 ball and 1 strike. Probably not a bunt opportunity here. And this one is going to be slapped over to the shortstop, bounces off her glove, and an error will be issued to Gosler, I would assume, and another runner on base. Yes, it is another runner on base via the error on Gosler, and everybody else will stay put.
Do you realize how close she was to a double play?
Oh, yeah. She
about
makes that,
6 inches away.
Yes. She makes that catch. She could have possibly had the double play there. That would have been an inning changer. You go from, I mean, they've still done some damage here. You have a 5-run deficit now, but you go from no outs and 2 on. That would have been 2 outs and nobody on instead.
Yeah.
If she makes that double play. This one's bunted, first base side. Could be trouble. The throw is made cleanly there by Armijo, the first baseman. So a good job there as Denison gets 1 out, but both runners move up, and now runners at second and third here as the runners continue to go station to station, as my old coach would say.
Most don't realize until they've stepped in the box how perfect a bunt that was by Kennedy Preston to get on the sacrifice. Good placement. She deadened the ball well.
Oh, absolutely. And, if that play isn't made flawlessly, there's a good chance that she reaches there. If there's any kind of a bobble, any kind of a mess up, and if they're not quick enough, she had some good speed down the line there. So,
did you realize the pun you just used? Jim Flaw's team flawlessly bunted. Good job.
That one was unintentional. I did.
It was intentional or unintentional?
Unintentional.
Okay.
I did use a pun earlier on yesterday during our broadcast. That was intentional. I used an intentional pun, but that one was not intentional.
3 runs are in here with only 1 out, and you got a chance to cash in 2 more.
And they have a chance to blow this one open to a bigger lead as this one's chopped foul.
Yeah.
And so the break in the ball game did not sit well for the Denison-Schleswig Monarchs, who now have fallen to a 5-run deficit. As they want to keep it at that and not let it go any further.
A ball on the strike count as Hylison has really been let down by her defense here. She's made the pitches she had to make.
This one's bunted, third base side, and again it will go foul. So back-to-back misses on a bunt. And we're going to be swinging away more than likely here with 2 runners on. But, some batters say that's okay. It gives me an opportunity to move some runners, maybe get an RBI.
Have seen on occasion a coach asking his hitters to bunt to improve their hitting later in the game when they come up.
15 RBIs on the year, and this one over to the first base or over to second base, and not in time. A hesitation there by the second baseman Anderson. She looked at home at first, she hesitated, then she threw it over to first, and it's not going to be in time, and that will be a run to come home for the Carlisle Wildcats.
Excellent call, because the runner was safe at first. As you pointed out, Zarin, you can't hesitate. She did, and it's another run.
And they ruled it a fielder's choice, so will be an RBI for Carlisle as well, as runners will go.
They ruled that a fielder's choice and not an error.
Correct. They ruled it a fielder's choice because she looked home and was going to throw it, and then she went over to first. So they ruled it as a fielder's choice and not as an error, so it does count as an RBI.
4 runs into the inning, and they're not done. Carlisle with a bunt, trying to squeeze.
And another fielder's choice, and that's going to be it'll be a fielder's choice. 1 run will score. The second run's going to score on a throwing error from Heilson as she chucks that one into right field. And then 2 more runs come across for Carlisle.
When it goes south, it goes south. Still only 1 out, and Carlisle adding to their lead here. I don't know, you could probably call that a sacrifice hit on that part, but the pitcher misplayed the ball, so you can't give the hit there.
And that one will be a foul ball. So, yes, as you mentioned, the wheels kind of coming off the wagon here for the Denison-Schleswig Monarchs, as it was a 3-1 ball game to start this inning. And now with 1 out, it's now a 9-1 ball game. Carlisle keeps going station to station and bringing more batters up. This is Hoffman, who can swing it and swing it well, as the runner will go, and stolen base. And that one will fly into right field, but the runner will not go. A stolen base for Dubois.
The rule that's in effect, the runs rule, is 12 after 3, 10 after 5, provided both teams have the same number of at-bats.
Right. As Hoffman will step back in and await her 1-1 pitch. In the air, and this one will,
Oops, there goes the camera.
Will get a camera.
Hopefully you show the shot, but it just broke the ears on it.
And that one will bounce off one of our cameras.
Is that one of the ones that we use?
Yeah, that is one of our cameras. But the camera stayed in motion. You're still watching the screen. So that's one of our 3 cameras. But the camera is still working. This one swung on and will be caught by the shortstop Gossler.
It's only the 2nd out as we swing now. That's 9 hitters up in the inning for Carlisle.
But that is a good out there for Denison-Schleswig. Hoffman has 50 RBIs this year, and a good out to get her. 48 hits, 50 RBIs. Pretty incredible numbers. This one smoked back over to shortstop area. Another line drive to Gossler, and she makes back-to-back lineouts for out 2 and 3, and that will finally end the 4th for the Denison-Schleswig Monarchs. Now they got to come up and go batting here in the top of the 5th. You're watching the IGHSAU Digital Network, powered by Mid-American Energy.
Iowa Public Television is the home of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union Championships. We bring you live, uninterrupted coverage of the state championships in volleyball, basketball, soccer, and softball. Plus, special features highlighting the Iowa girl. Catch it all on statewide Iowa Public Television, on air or at iptv.org.
Mid-American Energy and you, together partnering to change the energy landscape by pioneering money-saving, energy efficiency programs and building a new industry in Iowa, wind energy, all while keeping your rates low. So what's next? We'll keep delivering cost-effective energy efficiency programs while putting money back in your pocket. That's right, you decide how best to spend your savings. That's a partnership good for you, good for the environment, and good for Iowa. Another way we're obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Harlan Rogers Sports Complex is our site. Kruger Seeds Field is where we're at. Lance Reno's there in Eggestal. here at the IGHSAU Digital Network powered by Mid-American Energy. And the first pitch is grounded to the third base side, and a nice little 5-3 put out for out number one for Carlisle. So that's how you answer after scoring 6 runs in your home half of the fourth.
On one hit.
Yeah, one pitch, and you ground it out to the first base or the third base side. A nice little play there for Carlisle. This will be Dow now who will bat. And this one fouled off, and some more softballs for our home plate umpire. We got an abundance of them, but everyone that goes out of play and is returned over to the concession stand and are giving them a chicken sandwich. There's a swing and a miss. Strike 2. So I know what Lance has been up to in between games. He's been standing between the two fields with his glove waiting for the foul balls to come out.
You got it.
Going after those chicken sandwiches.
Get a free lunch.
That one misses outside for a ball as well.
One thing that's developed here, Zarin, has been that Hoekstra has retired since the play at third. She's retired 4 straight. She appears to be getting back her mojo on the pitching rubber.
And the trouble drill there, and a ground out to second base, and Schurz makes the nice little play. That's one of those that I've talked about throughout the year. It's one of those trouble drills. Every coach kind of has their different call for it, but one of those where you bat it down, you stay composed, and you still make the play over at first base.
Keep the ball in front. Hoekstra again working that lower part of the strike zone and getting the strike call there.
0-1 the count to Fink, the number 7 hitter in the order for Denison-Schleswig. And that one will be in there for a called strike. We go all the way.
Same basic location. One was inside, one is outside on the hitter.
We go all the way back to the first inning. The lone Denison run came on the first batter of the ball game. Homered to left center field. That's not going to do it, though. That's a swing and a miss for strike 3, and that will end the 5th inning. We're stretching here at Harlan Rogers Sports Complex. To the bottom of the 5th we go. You're watching the IGHSAU Digital Network powered by Mid-American Energy.
They say Buena Vista University is in the middle of a bunch of fields.
Hey guys, wait up!
Game on.
They say our idea of fun is morning tea, and afternoon tea,
and anytime tea.
And we hang out like bumps on a log.
They say Storm Lake, Iowa isn't in the center of the action. And when we study, we're not exactly grounded.
But you know what we say.
You gotta see it to believe it.
We might not always know what the day will bring, but some things are certain. The sun will rise and your lights will go on. That's because at Mid-American Energy, we're obsessively, relentlessly committed to providing you energy when and where you need it, to connecting with you and keeping our communities safe and strong. Because the most important thing we put our energy into is you. We're obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
They say Buena Vista University.
Welcome back here to Harlan Rogers Sports Complex, the IGHSAU Digital Network powered by Mid-American Energy. And take me out to the ballpark, saying as it is in all of our ball games here at one of the fun traditions to bring your family out here to the state tournament. One of the fun traditions, as the PA announcers on both sides. Our side happens to be Tim Fitzpatrick, one of the legendary public address announcers. The IGHSAU brings in basketball. He does softball. He does a lot of different PA work, and singing along, getting the crowds cheered up and ready to go for the back half of this Class 4A quarterfinal between the number 1 team and the number 8 team. 2-1 count here to the leadoff hitter in the order. Schurz for Carlisle, the second baseman, just made a nice nifty play over at second base a moment ago, and now batting.
10 batters last inning for Carlisle.
Oof.
Resulted in the 6 runs.
This one swung on, and that one fouled up and out of play. And there's a target on our cameras. That one nearly struck another one.
I don't think your friendly big box store has that style of camera either.
No, it does not.
May have to go miniaturized. We don't give out any brand names unless they're with us as a sponsor.
That one swung on and driven to the shortstop area. Nice little play by Gosler, who's had a heavy day over at shortstop.
You do realize 2 more runs for Carlisle.
Yep.
What that would mean.
Carlisle scores 2 more, and this game would end in 5 innings. But it was delayed a little bit due to our third base troubles, as that one is in there for a called strike. If you're just joining us here on the IGHSAU Digital Network, we had a slight problem with third base. The actual stake in the ground, what holds the base in place, came loose, and so they had to dig it out. That one's right back at Hostra.
Look what I found.
Yes, excuse me, Heilson.
Did you notice how big her eyes got as that ball was headed back towards her glove?
It's like opening the door coming down the stairs on Christmas morning.
Yeah, and there's no packages under the tree. 2 gone here in the 5th.
But she's able to compose herself and get it over to first base in time. Now this one is smoked out into center field, and it is dropped. And
it dropped in front of her. She barely got a glove on it.
That'll be in for a single. Roush going after it.
.26 is batting here. That would be.
It's going to be a pinch hitter. Actually, she's moving up from the flex
From
spot.
the flex for now.
Yep, so she's moving up from the flex spot. That's Aubrey Fernal.
The flex can hit for the DP.
Yep.
And the DP normally hits for the flex. A lot of coaches have used the flex player for a good defender or let them play on the field.
This one swung on to the shortstop side and is played over at second base for out number 3. So that will end the 5th, and we will head to the 6th. It's still 9-1 Carlisle leads here on the IGHSAU Digital Network.
Mid-American Energy and you, together partnering to change the energy landscape by pioneering money-saving, energy efficiency programs and building a new industry in Iowa, wind energy, all while keeping your rates low. So what's next? We'll keep delivering cost-effective energy efficiency programs while putting money back in your pocket. That's right, you decide how best to spend your savings. That's a partnership good for you, good for the environment, and good for Iowa. Another way we're obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Iowa Public Television is the home of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union Championships. We bring you live, uninterrupted coverage of the state championships in volleyball, basketball, soccer, and softball, plus special features highlighting the Iowa girl. Catch it all on statewide Iowa Public Television, on air or at iptv.org.
Welcome back here to Harlan Rogers Sports Complex. The Kruger Seeds Field is where myself, Zarin Egestal, and my partner in crime behind home plate, Lance Reno, is today. This is a Class 4A quarterfinal matchup between the number 1 team in Class 4A, the Denison-Schleswig Monarchs, and the number 1 team, Carlisle, and the number 18, the Denison-Schleswig Monarchs, who are batting here in the top half of the 6th inning. 8-9-1. All due up here for Denison, and you know what that means, coming up at the 1-hitter in the 3 spot. Let's see where she hits the ball this time when she gets this way, but we got to get that far first. It's Pick, the third baseman. She flings one to right field. Foul territory, and a nice play for out number 1.
Hoekstra and Carlisle have retired 14 out of the 16 official at-bats here in the ballgame. Only 2 hits, and both have been by Alex Moore from the leadoff spot.
Here's the windup and Hoekstra's first pitch, and that one taken for a called strike. We want to thank all of our great friends and sponsors who are able to bring us this. The IGHSAU Digital Network, brought to you by, powered by Mid-American Energy, and a nice little grounder over to second base in the play out. All Hoffman in time for out number 2.
That one had no chance because the first baseman went to her right. Second baseman was crossing behind her, and there was a foregone conclusion. It was just a matter of would the second baseman make it to first before the runner got there.
Right. It would need to be a double error on both of them.
Yes. There's a changeup out of the zone.
Yeah, that one just missing for Hoekstra. We've seen her go to the fastball quite a bit, but she has been mixing it up with some of these other pitches.
She's been in command for the most part.
Yeah. Situational hitter, so when she needs to, she'll go to the changeup, the screwball, the rise ball, but for the most part, she likes to stay with that fastball. That one's in there for a called strike after back-to-back balls.
Six strikeouts. That's an average of 1 an inning for Hoekstra.
This one drilled to left field. That one is going to get down. It's a fair ball, says our umpires, and that one will be a double.
By
and guess who?
Alex Moore. She got a home run, 2 doubles now. Should have held her at first for the single, right?
Yes, that is her 3rd extra base hit of this ball game, and brought to you by Kruger Seeds. Here in the state softball tournament, all of our extra base hits are brought to you by Kruger Seeds. The next time you're in the need of corn or soybeans, give your local Kruger Seeds dealer a call. Kruger Seeds, first-class seed, first name service. So she has a home run, a double, and a double so far in this ball game.
8 total bases.
Yes, and she's got herself in scoring position if she can get one of her teammates, and hopefully she's hoping Regan Anderson, the senior second baseman, to knock her in here in the number 2 spot. But that's not a bad leadoff hitter. If the leadoff hitter she's quick, she can run for power, and she can get on. So that's what you want for a leadoff hitter.
In the 3rd inning, she did almost the same thing, except it was down the right field line. Got thrown out at 3rd. I think that was on her mind as she hit 2nd.
Yeah, she slowed up as she was getting to second base. No way she was going to 3rd that time, as another pitch in there for a strike. Now 1-2 our count. Hoekstra trying to get another strikeout in this ball game. And time is going to be called. As a batter, you get into the box, you have a routine, and you don't want to just sit there. So, after a amount of time, you're going to call time, maybe reset, take a breath, get back in, start your routine over again. And that one misses for a ball.
Along that line, the rule book says the pitcher has to throw the ball within 20 seconds of receiving it, and the batter has to be in the batter's box within 10 seconds of the pitcher getting the ball in the circle. If you want to follow the rule book precisely, and that's what most guys have done. That just gives you the perspective there from the hitter. You touched on it, the hitter and the pitcher's perspectives.
And sometimes it's a cat and mouse game between hitter.
Yes.
The pitcher will stand and stare. The hitter will call time. The hitter will get in, will call time. It's a cat and mouse game. This one grounded over to Hoffman. She makes a nice grab at first base. 3 unassisted to end the top half of the 6th. We head to the bottom of the 6th. It's still 9-1 in favor of Carlisle. You're watching the IGHSAU Digital Network, brought to you by Mid-American Energy.
We might not always know what the day will bring, but some things are certain. The sun will rise and your lights will go on. That's because at Mid-American Energy, we're obsessively, relentlessly committed to providing you energy when and where you need it, to connecting with you and keeping our communities safe and strong. Because the most important thing we put our energy into is you. We're obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
All you have to do is you just have to get their feet here on the pavement and be. Being in Des Moines, you just get it through the experience.
I'm a fan of a lot of our fast, casual cuisine.
A little theater, some great restaurants.
There's a lot going on musically.
If you can't find things to do in Des Moines,
you must be boring.
This is a magical place.
All you have to do is
Welcome back to Fort Dodge, Iowa, and the home of the Iowa Girls High School Girls Union State Softball Tournament. It's powered by Mid-American Energy here on the digital network. And Zarin Eggleston joined by Lance Marino. Bottom half of the 6th inning. Again, we want to remind our listeners, obviously, we just want to remind our viewers that 2 runs for Carlisle will end the ball game. So Denison's got to keep that in mind as well.
We'll get us back on schedule for the most part, if that were to happen. The Denison-Schleswig is not going to go down willingly.
They are not.
Moore has the only 3 hits on the board. She's the catcher. But surprisingly, Carlisle only has 3 hits as well. There's
their
number
4th.
4.
Yeah, that one's going to get into the outfield for a single. And we've talked about the errors. Those errors have really brought in runs. We saw 1 error bring in 2 runs. Another error, wild pitch and error brought in 2 runs. And another
courtesy runner. Isabel Noring is running again for the catcher Kennedy Preston.
Noren, one of those 8th graders. She's a IMT substitution. Substitutions today are brought to you by IMT. Learn how you can be worry-free with IMTINS.com. And now she's going to try to take second. That's her 2nd stolen base of the ball game as well.
That pitch came in very, very tight to Schnarnhorst. She kind of twisted away from it.
That one misses for a ball. Back-to-back balls.
Is it just me, or does it seem that a lot of the high school pitchers are getting taller?
Yeah, they are.
Over the years.
Well, I mean,
seriously.
That is how they pitch so well. I mean, they bring the power is those long legs and long arms, getting that real extension and that flick. That's really where that power comes from.
The physics of it all.
Yeah. And I think teams are starting to realize that. So what they're doing is they're finding, girls that are tall and teaching them how to pitch.
When I say tall, Zarin, I'm referring to gals that are 5'10".
Oh, yeah.
Or a little taller than that, maybe up around 6 foot.
Absolutely.
Right now, Hylison is coming back strong. She's ahead on the count on this batter, 0-2. So the runner down at second, Noring, the courtesy runner, has to return. When I say tall, I look over there at the on-deck hitter, Meredith Hoffman, as you referred to her. I would guess she's close to 6 foot. There's one into the dirt, and down to third goes Noring.
She's got good size on her, 6 foot 6'1". She might be 6'1".
She would look about that tall.
Absolutely. And Heilson herself, not bad height.
She has to be 5'10".
5'10", 5'11". This one is driven deep to left field, and that will be a nice leaping grab from Dow, and the runner Noren will tag and score. So moving her over to third base is crucial now. Sac fly to left field for another run. Now it's 10-1 in favor of Carlisle. As Hoffman comes in, 50 RBIs on the year for Hoffman, and not the batter you want up for Denison-Schleswig. Well, hey, she skied one to the second base area and gets out of it. A tough hitting day for Hoffman, but that's okay. Her teammates have picked her up. It's 10-1 in favor of the Carlisle Wildcats here on the IGHSAU Digital Network, powered by Mid-American Energy.
We might not always know what the day will bring, but some things are certain. The sun will rise and your lights will go on. That's because at Mid-American Energy, we're obsessively, relentlessly committed to providing you energy when and where you need it, to connecting with you and keeping our communities safe and strong. Because the most important thing we put our energy into is you. We're obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
All you have to do is you just have to get their feet here on the pavement and bing. being in Des Moines, you just get it through the experience.
I'm a fan of a lot of our fast, casual cuisine.
A little theater, some great restaurants.
There's a lot going on musically.
If you can't find things to do in Des Moines,
You must be boring.
this is a magical place.
All you have to
Welcome back here to the IGHSAU Digital Network, powered by Mid-American Energy, the Kruger Seeds Field. And Holstra will get the 7th inning off as Lexi Link, who wears 00, the sophomore who is making her 27th appearance of the season, will come in relief. 62 1/3 innings for her, 23 earned runs, a 2.58 ERA. She's got 60 strikeouts and allowed 46 hits. She's walked 16, and she's got a 4-2 record on the year for Carlisle, the number 2 pitcher. And it's going to be a long tournament here for Hostra, so just if you can get her an inning off or an inning 2 off, and you don't lose much with Link either, and that's why Coach Flaws decided to go with Link.
Get her some experience.
Yes.
Say she pitched in a state tournament, so all the much the better.
This one swung on and will make its way out of play, foul. Denison-Schleswig, this is, we mentioned earlier, their first time at the state tournament since placing 8th in 2013. And for Alex Morin, who was an all-state player a year ago, a 5-year starter for the Schleswig Monarchs, Denison-Schleswig Monarchs, it's an illegal pitch, as that one will be taken for a ball. For her, what a quarterfinal she had to end it as a senior. She did get a play. No, excuse me, she wouldn't have been her 7th grade year. This one's over to the shortstop area and fires to first in time for the out. As she, in her lone state appearance, 2 doubles and a home run for her. Could be on her way to another all-state appearance this year. And they are going to get one more game. They'll play a consolation game if they're not able to score 9 runs here in the next 2 outs. This one's popped up Armijo into second base area for out number 2.
Coming in as the top seeded team and the number 1 team on the polls. Target on the back of Carlisle, and today, taking on a very worthy opponent, Carlisle has answered.
Yeah, they got the best out of Denison-Schleswig today, and without a couple of errors going against Denison, and the bats maybe picking up a little bit more, other than Alex, this definitely could have been a different ball game. I think the errors, we talked about it, one of the keys to the game was Denison not committing errors, and 4 of them for the Monarchs today, none for the Wildcats.
You see that wicked changeup she just threw?
And she's a sophomore.
Yeah. Had the batter, Rao, completely out front.
And that will miss for a ball now. 1-2. Denison down to their final strike as Rao, the center fielder, is batting. Also good height to her as well. And that one will miss again for a ball. 2 balls,
I would
2
imagine
strikes.
Carlisle has a pretty good-sized JV squad as well. I know that East Marshall in Class 2A had 30 girls up for softball total. So they had 2 JV teams.
Pop fly, second base, and
Game
that will do
over.
it. As Denison-Schleswig will fall here in the quarterfinals to the Carlisle Wildcats, the number 1 seed survives and advances. All of our number 1 seeds have so far, and that will set up the number 1 seed Carlisle. Moving on. And I do not quite have a score from the Iowa Central Community College Diamond. Probably the game's still going on at 1:30 start. But we'll take a quick break here on the IGHSAU Digital Network, powered by Mid-American Energy.
Mid-American Energy and you, together partnering to change the energy landscape by pioneering money-saving, energy efficiency programs and building a new industry in Iowa, wind energy, all while keeping your rates low. So what's next? We'll keep delivering cost-effective energy efficiency programs while putting money back in your pocket. That's right, you decide how best to spend your savings. That's a partnership good for you, good for the environment, and good for Iowa. Another way we're obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
I am smart.
I am smart.
I am smart.
I am kind.
Kind.
I am kind.
I am strong.
Strong.
Strong. I am important.
I am important.
I am important.
I am the Iowa girl.
I am the Iowa girl.
I am the Iowa girl. I am the Iowa girl.
I am the Iowa girl.
I am the Iowa girl. I am the Iowa girl.
Welcome back here on the IGHS Digital Network, powered by Mid-American Energy. Final score here in the Class 4A quarterfinal. It's the Carlisle Wildcats 10 and the Denison-Schleswig Monarchs 1. As Denison will go to the consolation, Carlisle will move on to the semifinals. Thanks, Lance, for joining us here on the broadcast. For Lance Reno, I'm Zarin Egestal, and we'll catch you in the next game here on the IGHSAU Digital Network, powered by Mid-American Energy.